Please. I need a lawyer. She cheated on me and is taking everything. He begged. His baby screaming in his arms. I just looked at the man who left me for a teenager a year ago. Right after my nephew's funeral. The look on his face when I smiled was priceless. Hey Reddit. I really need some outside perspective on what feels like the most brutal year of my life. I'm 23. Recently graduated law school. And for nearly 4 years, I was with my ex. Mark M. 27. He worked in retail. We were a solid couple. Or at least I thought we were. 2020 hit me like a train. It wasn't just the pandemic. It felt like a personal assault. I lost my nephew to suicide. A crushing blow that shook our entire family. Then, shortly after, my uncle passed away from COVID. As if that wasn't enough. Our family dog, a loyal companion for years, also crossed the Rainbow Bridge. Each loss chipped away at me, leaving me vulnerable and raw. But I clung to Mark. We had to be stronger than ever. Right. We'd been together so long. He was my rock through so much. But around August, things started to fracture in a way I never saw coming. It was the week my nephew passed. I remember calling Mark. Just needing to cry. Needing comfort. Needing him. The phone was to my ear. Tears streaming. And I started telling him how much pain I was in. Then he snapped. His voice was laced with anger. Sharp and cutting. He launched into how he always had suicidal thoughts. How bad things were for him. How he could kill himself anytime. It wasn't a soft confession. Seeking support. It was a harsh, almost accusatory outburst. My brain tried to process what just happened. My grief, my desperate need for solace, had just been completely steamrolled. Was he serious? Was I supposed to immediately pivot and comfort him in this moment? The anger in his voice, the sheer insensitivity of the timing, just hit me like a physical blow. I hung up. I immediately felt a wave of guilt because, intellectually, I know everyone should be free to talk about those feelings, especially to their partner. But in that moment, in that specific week, it felt so incredibly rude, so callous, that I just couldn't deal with it. It stripped away the last bit of emotional energy I had. I was trying to understand why he couldn't just be there for me. Just for a moment. 3 weeks later, he dumped me. Just like that. The cliché. It's not you. It's me. His face was neutral. Almost detached. After nearly 4 years. After everything we'd been through. Especially the last few months. That was it. Just a few empty words. And our relationship was over. It felt like another punch to the gut. An abandonment when I was already at my lowest. I kept replaying that phone call in my head. Wondering if that was the moment everything truly broke. Was my pain too much for him? Was I too much? The very next day, I couldn't keep anything down. Food was an impossibility. I was in a haze of shock and grief. Barely able to function. Then I heard it. Saw it. Mark was out drinking with his coworkers. Having a blast. I knew had started working there around April 2020. But seeing him so publicly happy, so immediately unburdened, while I was literally falling apart, it twisted the knife. It made me question every single thing we ever had. I don't know. Reddit. Was I wrong to hang up on him? Was his outburst a cry for help I misread? And that's why he left? Or was this just who he really was all along? I'm so confused about how I should have reacted then. And what it says about me now? The weeks following the breakup were a blur of just trying to breathe. And then, the gut punches started coming. Fast and hard. I found out that within a week, a single week, of him telling me it's not you, it's me, he was already dating her. One of the coworkers he was out drinking with that next day. My stomach churned. The math wasn't hard. He didn't just meet her. He had her lined up. That "it's me" speech was a total lie. It wasn't about him finding himself. It was about him wanting someone else. 2 weeks after the breakup. It was Facebook official. A picture of them. Smiling. It felt like a public execution of our 4 years together. And get this. She was 18. Just turned 19. He's almost 30. The realization hit me. I was replaced by a teenager. I wasn't just heartbroken anymore. I was disgusted. My self-esteem, already fragile from everything I'd been through, completely bottomed out. What did she have that I didn't? Was my career, my ambition, My entire life as a 23-year-old woman somehow less appealing than a high school graduate. The questions were relentless and cruel. To make it 1,000 times worse, everyone seemed so happy for them. The comments on their posts were all sunshine and rainbows. You two are so cute. So happy for you. Mark. Every cheerful comment felt like a personal jab. A confirmation that my pain didn't matter. That our 4 years were forgettable. I felt completely isolated. Like I was the only one who saw how messed up this was. Here I was. A lawyer who had just lost 3 important parts of her life. And he was the hero of the story. Finding new love. It was a narrative I couldn't escape. Then, about 6 months ago, the final bomb dropped. I was just scrolling through my feed, trying to mind my own business. And there it was. An announcement? A picture of an ultrasound. They were pregnant. My brain went into overdrive. Trying to process the information. It wasn't just the shock. It was the cold, hard timeline. He had always been so adamant about his life choices. He hated the idea of kids. He hated commitment. He fought me on moving in together for years. Yet here he was. Not only in a committed relationship, but starting a family. And with her, my mind started doing the math. The breakup was a year ago. They announced 6 months ago. She's 9 months pregnant now, which means he got her pregnant within 2 or 3 months. 3 months. After 4 years with me, where commitment was like pulling teeth, he knocked up a 19-year-old in less time than a season of the year. This wasn't the guy I knew. This was a stranger. Everything he had ever told me, every future we had discussed, it all felt like a lie. The anger I felt was overwhelming. But it was mixed with this profound sense of pity for this young girl. She has no idea who she's tied herself to. So my question is, how does this happen? How can everything seem so perfect for him after he caused so much destruction? Am I just supposed to be happy for them? Because right now, all I feel is this burning sense of injustice. Was I really just a placeholder for nearly 4 years? It's been a full year since he walked out. And my feelings are still a tangled mess. Most days, I have nothing but this deep, burning anger towards him. The disrespect is what gets me. But for her, I just feel pity. She's 19. Maybe 20 now. About to have a baby with a man who completely reinvented his personality overnight. I feel like I'm watching a slow-motion car crash. And everyone else is cheering like it's a parade. The question that haunts me, the one that keeps me up at night, is this: was I not good enough for commitment? We were together for 4 years. I supported him. I loved him through his struggles. I was there. Why was 3 months with her enough for him to throw away every principle he claimed to have? It makes me feel like our entire relationship was a lie. A waiting game until something easier came along. And am I just completely insane for feeling this way? Am I supposed to see a young couple starting a family and just be happy for them? Because I'm not. It makes me feel sick. Look, I want to be clear. I know I'm slowly moving on. It's been a rough year. But I'm functioning. I'm just trying to make sense of the wreckage. And about the cheating, I have no proof he physically cheated. I never walked in on them or anything like that. However, he, at the very least, emotionally cheated. You don't line up a new girlfriend and get Facebook official within a month of a 4-year relationship ending unless that foundation was already built. I just know that it was a scummy, cowardly thing to do. In my opinion. Of course, I only know my side of things. We haven't spoken a single word since the breakup. I'm sure he was unhappy. And I'm sure he was looking elsewhere. I can accept that a relationship ends. But the way he did it felt so uniquely cruel and undeserved. There are a million ways to leave someone. Doing it when I was at my absolute lowest and then immediately knocking up a 19-year-old didn't have to be one of them. So, Reddit. I guess I'm here to ask. What am I doing wrong and how I'm processing this? Is there some lesson here that I'm completely missing? And most importantly, how do I stop feeling like I was the problem and start to build my self-esteem back up from absolute zero?